Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. Welcome to the bench. Hope you're all well and hope you're staying warm. Today on the bench I got a JVC KD-10 stereo cassette deck. This was brought to me with a group of other items. The Pioneer amp and tuner combo from Ireland, and this also came with that group of items. And again, this was somebody hacked off the European plug and put on a US standard, so I'll have to fix that. This one does have the voltage setting though, and it is set to 120 volts. And apparently it works. I haven't tried it yet. My client's complaint with this is it plays slow. So we're going to get into this and have a look at what's going on. JVC made a number of cassette decks. This is a KD-10. This isn't a high-end deck. This is more a middle-of-the-road variety. It's got typical features. It's got a frequency response, typically 15,000 kilohertz top end, and it's nothing great. Signal to noise ratio 50-60 dBs with Dolby. Wow and flutter. Everything else looks pretty standard affair. But we're going to look into this. Yeah, I'll definitely have to replace power cord. This isn't satisfactory. Somebody just hacked off the European plug and attached this thing. Let's have a look at the back. So it's got the voltage converter switch, and it's set for 120 volts right now. But originally this unit was preset for use on 240 volts, 50 hertz. British Electro-Technical Approvals Board. That's some kind of approval sticker. So this did come from Great Britain or the UK. Not much else going on back here. Just inputs, outputs, DIN connector. Let's plug it in, try it out. I do have it connected to an amplifier. Let me find a tape and then we'll see what we can do here. All right. This is quite slow. Once you do it a few times, it wakes up. All right. We got Wang Chung again. Sounds like it's playing the right speed. The tape drive's making all kinds of noises. Hang on. Let's have this off. Lift this off. They got screws here. Okay, one screw. Take that screw right out. And this should lift off. Quite dirty. It's quite dirty. The heads and the rollers quite dirty, but let's try this. It has a hard time speeding up. That could be slipping belt though. It sounds terrible. There's no high ends. It's all muffled. But that could be the tape heads tube being dirty. Okay, So I have a good idea what's going on here. Let's pull the top off and have a look inside. Alright, so we're in. Here it is. Power switch way in the back left corner with a mechanical rod connecting the two. Power switch. Here's our voltage selector switch. This is for selecting the different taps on the transformer. Transformer set up for 120, 220, 240 volts. And then it comes back to the main board. Power supply section here with 3 fuses. And then everything else is pretty standard affair. A lot of wiring and harnesses. Look at this. It's all big cables and clumps of cables. This part here is all shielded. I'm guessing this is the head amplifiers underneath there to keep the hum down. If I follow the wires, it comes back here, goes to here. This is a switch here for playback record. It's got a wire with a spring on it that pulls the two and sets up the record amplifiers or erase oscillator. Motor. Now let's have a look at how this thing starts up. I'll move the camera around and show you what I mean. So we've got quite a huge flywheel on the capstan. It's about 3 inches in diameter. It's got a lot of mass to it. Moves freely. It's got a lot of play, but it moves freely. It's not dried up grease or anything. So watch what happens when I hit the play button. There we go. Did you see that? Let me do it again. You see how the belt jumps to the right? As the belt jumps to the right, this pulley here is slipping. And as this flywheel gets up to speed, then the belt corrects itself. Watch again. So it takes a second or so before it gets up to speed. The belt is slipping. It doesn't seem to have a lot of tension, but I think it just needs a good cleaning. It's making a lot of noise though. See, it's slipping on that motor pulley. It takes a while to get up to speed. Let me try cleaning this. All I'm going to use to clean this right now is some alcohol. Still makes a lot of noise. Clean the flywheel off. Even the flywheel's dirty. It's coming clean now. It's not. It's not as dirty as it was. Okay, they run for a while and dry off. Okay, let's see how it goes now. Notice it does it a lot faster now. Since I cleaned the belt, it's got a little more grip and it falls into place a lot sooner. That's an improvement. At least it's not slipping so bad. Okay. I can clean the belt even more with some rubber renew. Let me try and flip it over and have a look. Looks good. Belt looks okay. It's supple too. It's not like it's dried up, or I think the belt's going to be okay. It just needs a good cleaning. This deck has a removable bottom, so I'll take the bottom off. I want to check some of these caps, especially these ones in the power supply. I just want to see how they're doing. This thing has a build date. I'll show you here right now. It's on this motor. 12th of May, 1979. So, yeah, it was built middle of 79. Maybe late 79, who knows. And it's got some age to it. It's not very often you see this. It's a heavy bottom plate, and it's got this magnetic shielding right over the area where the head amplifier is. It's pretty nice. You don't really see that. JVC went to some good lengths to make this a quality machine, that's for sure. I think the first thing I want to do is get rid of this power cord. This is pretty sad looking. Okay, so I do have another cord here. A new one. Let's see if we can get this out. Sometimes they come out easy, sometimes they don't. So I'm just going to try here. And this one doesn't want to come out easy. I guess they have a special pair of pliers for gripping these grommets and pulling them out. And I like to get myself a pair if I could find them. Well, that one came out better than I thought. Okay, let's cut some ties. It's pretty simple here. It's just a power switch. I got a dual pole single throw power switch. The line is connected to one side of the contacts. The transformer is connected to the other side of the contacts. So it's just a matter of pulling that out. And it's insulated with these plastic sleeves. I'll just pull these off. I can use heat shrink. Let's cut it. Okay. Throw these away. Now I can get my iron in there and clean off these. And wrap the this one's got glue on it. It's being difficult. There we go. Okay. This is 18 gauge, but it's got really thick plastic on it. Oh, wow. All right. All right, so let me clean this off. Okay. Need some sleeving. What do I need here? This should work. Solder splashed on here. Okay, solder this up, and then all right. I might have screwed up here and put the wrong size heat shrink on. No, it's going to work. Got to get it down over. Okay. That's it. There we go. Oh, that's no good. That will not do. I'll have to find another grommet. This one's not going to hold. This one's probably made for sheet metal. And this plastic's probably a little too thick for it. It doesn't lock. Okay, I'll get another one. Alright, here's a look at the heads. Pretty dirty. You can see the erase head's got some brown stuff on it. This playback record head has some kind of white powder on it, like it's looks like corrosion maybe, I don't know. And then the capstan. So let's clean this. I'm just going to use alcohol and Q-tip. Put it into play mode. See, it's locked out of play right now. I have to stick my finger in here and push a little lever back before that weird noise again. Okay, well, let's clean this and see what we can get. Just going to use alcohol on a Q-tip. Let's see if we can get this clean. It's really hard to get in there because they got this, the way it's set up, you can't really remove the door unless you disassemble the machine. I'm not going to do that for cleaning the heads. Thankfully it's not very dirty. I'm just going, you can see that little bit of stuff on the tip there. I was trying to look at the adjustment screw and it looks like maybe somebody's tweaked it. Okay, so let's clean this. Take the paws off. The crunching sound doesn't sound good. Oops. See, I can't even get in there with my fingers. Is that the pinch roller making that noise? No. It's a take-up reel. Huh. You might have to pull the assembly out anyways. It's got some problem. It's probably like a dirty tire or bad belt or something. Ouch. That hurt. Got a little alcohol in my cut. This doesn't want to come clean. This might take a while. Okay. Sort of feel Oh dear, that head has a lot of wear. Okay, I have to shut this off. I'll just put it in pause. Yeah, it's got a huge groove in it from the tape. I don't know. You can sure feel it with the fingernail. You can't really see it from your angle, but I can feel it. Alright, let's see how it sounds after the cleaning. Still not very good. Let me see if I can tweak the heads a bit. Problem is the head, the playback erase or the playback record head is so badly worn. Might not be able to save this deck without replacing the head, and be able to find a replacement head. So let's try this. I'm gonna have to cut out it because it's copyrighted material. So I'll be right back. What I'll do is I'll get my alignment tape. I have one made here for, I think it's 10 kilohertz, and I'll set it up the best I can. It made a little bit of improvement, but it's still going to be a dull sounding deck. There's nothing you can do about it. Now let me show you what I'm up against here. I got my 7 kilohertz test tone tape, and if I play it, the heads are so badly worn that one channel doesn't even. I'm going to adjust it down, and then go through the sweet spot. There's barely anything on that left channel. It's about as good as it gets right there, right here. I got a little tweak on the meter here. Now that's his. What this is, his head is completely done. How come I can't find the, okay. Yeah, it's not good. Alright, so I had a little sleep on this last night, and I thought about what I'm going to do with this thing. Kind of torn as to which way to take it. Considering the head's really worn out, and you know, this deck will never sound as good as it did brand new because the head is so worn. But I'm also getting a lot of noises from the mechanicals from what I suspect is maybe belts or maybe lubrication or tires. I'm not sure. So I want to remove the cassette drive mechanism for just disassembly and inspection and service. From what I can tell, it's held in by 4 screws. You got one screw up in this corner, one down here, one here, one here. So those 4 screws should liberate the mechanism from the front panel, and it should be able to come back, and I should be able to take it out. Problem is, we got about 100 wires here that are in this mess that are tying everything together, and there's no pin connectors, there's no you know, quick connectors on these. It's all soldered and wire wrapped. So if I do take the mechanism out, it's just going to be hanging on the wires, and that's fine. I can work with that. Problem is, I got another couple things here to do. There's this lever here. I don't know if you can see it. This lever here. This one connects the record function of the drive mechanism to the switch. See this complicated, convoluted lever system here. I can remove this. That should be no problem. It's just popped into place with 2 tabs. Let me try that right now. I just don't want to break the plastic. That's what I'm worried about with these old machines. So let's try pulling this apart. without snapping plastic. There we go. Okay. So gotta remember, oh, there's a pin is going to fall out. Gotta remember the dot goes towards the back. That's it for that. Now I got this contraption here which dampens the door opening, and it's held in 2 screws. So I remove those 2 screws. This assembly should come out with the drive mechanism, and hopefully that's it. Now it looks like to me, oh, I also have another screw right here that holds this counter assembly to the front panel, so I'm going to have to remove that one as well. So there's 5 screws it looks like. So let me try taking this out. I'll shut the camera off and bring you back when I got it out. Okay, that went a little easier than I thought. I'm just going to cut some cable ties here just so I get more wiggle room. Everything I touch in this flies away from me. Now, I didn't need to remove the 2 screws from here. That stays. I didn't need to remove this screw here because that's part of the counter mechanism. That stays. Now I got everything out. This here, I still need to cut more cable ties. This is ridiculous. So much cable here. Maybe that's why they put so much. Look at this. Let's cut these as well. This one here. These are the cables for the heads. Okay, so I should have what's holding it now. I got a ground wire here somewhere. That's my main culprit. Okay, but I guess I still have full access to the mechanisms. I got a creaky noise coming from in here somewhere, and I think it's probably one of these rubber tires that's hidden underneath. Plus I want to take out the capstan assembly and lubricate the bearing. Another thing I want to do is I want to take this belt. I'm going to attempt boiling the belt just because it's, I don't know, I don't think it's gripping as good as it should. So I want to take the belt out. Let's pull this out right now. Everybody talks about boiling belts in the microwave. I've never done it, and I usually just replace them. If a belt's becoming a problem, it's pretty much at the end of its life and it needs to be changed. But in this case, the belt is actually not bad. It's just maybe a bit dried up. And it looks like this bearing is adjusted to max. Okay, so let's pull this belt out. Have a look at it. So let me measure this. I'll measure this belt before and after I boil it and see if it changes in dimension. I think if it shrinks, that's a good thing because it'll give it more grip and more traction. Actually, that bearing doesn't feel spinning pretty free. But we'll service that bearing anyway. Motor bearing, I can service the front motor bearing. I'm not going to take the motor apart. There's really no need to. In this case, the motor is quiet. It's running at the correct speed. I'll give it a speed alignment after I'm done, but yeah. So let me measure this and be right back. Alright, let's see what we got here. I don't know if my right there, I think 31 centimeters. We'll go 31 centimeters. Okay, alrighty then, here's our wet belt fresh out of the microwave. and dry it off. Made kind of a stinky rubber soup in the cup there. I don't know. It smelled like rubber. Not really taking any dirt. A little bit of dirt come off. Okay, let's see if it shrunk. That's what I'm more interested in than anything else. Let's try this. Well, 30. It did shrink down to 30 centimeters from 31. So I think that's a success. Yes, so let's put that back on and we'll go with that. It's clean now. I don't know if any further cleaning with alcohol will do any benefit. It looks pretty good. Okay, so I'll disassemble this and I'll probably pull a motor off the mechanism and lubricate that bearing if I can. If I can't reach it from here, it's kind of hard to get in there. I'd like to clean this pulley as well. I want to pull this flywheel off because there's a rubber tire under there. There's actually a number of rubber tires on this thing, and I want to hit them up with rubber renew just so that they're at their best when I put it all back together. Alright, let's dive into this thing and see what we can do for it. So let's pull the flywheel off, and what I do with that is we have this little plastic washer here. Just back the flywheel off and then push it up and then remove this. This here, it kind of keeps, well, its intention is to keep the oil from flowing out of the bearing onto the Tate path. And you gotta make sure you put that away. If it's lost or stolen, it's not critical. It'll still run, but it's okay. So we can pull this flywheel off now. It's completely free. And from what I see here, we have another surface on this inner circumference that is used to operate this tire. And I think that's where my creaky noise is coming from, because this tire looks really glazed. There's a little spring here, so don't want to lose that. Put that away. Get my parts tray rearranged here so it's okay. So I'll clean this surface. I'll clean. There's really nothing to clean on the bearing surface. It looks pretty clean already. Looks like it has a catch here too, because as it turns it might catch something. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the auto stop. So put this aside. Now this thing looks like it comes out in as an assembly. I've got one plate here held in with a screw and one screw here on this plate. So let's take this plate off first. I'm just curious as to what comes apart here. So let's take this out. Okay, that's no drama there. Put that aside. And that releases this wheel. Oh, look at this. This nylon wheel here is cracked right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in, I'll show you this stuff. So we have a crack here on this shaft. It's still held in place. Where is it? No, it's not moving. Look at the crack on this one. It's got two cracks. This one's cracked from here out, the center out to this side. And it's about, well, I'd say 8 millimeters long. And then there's a crack on the other side here. That's the problem with these old decks. You can't do anything with these. Once they start cracking like this old plastic, you can't do anything with it. And it's just a matter of using it until it drops. And there's not much you can do about that. So let's pull this part out. What's all this connected to? This is connected to, oh, this can come out. We can clean that wheel, that tire, and this tire. There's two tires on this one. And the spring. Okay, so we got to pull that E-clip out. And we'll take that lever out with the spring attached. Okay. So you're going to remember how this all goes back together, right? This comes out, and this comes out. Okay, I'll put all this aside, and we'll clean all these tires with rubber renew, and then we'll put it all back together. Next, I want to see what's going on here. I want to get at this tire here. I wonder if I just remove this spring, will this come out? No. Doink. It's okay, I know where it is. Is there a screw down here? Yeah, there is, way under the motor. So let's take this screw out first. Let's see if this lifts out. Probably won't. Yeah, it won't. It goes through the chassis and it comes out the other side. You can see it probably, where is it? Right here. So I need to remove the motor and remove that second screw, which is not a big deal. I'll just take this motor out. How's it secured? One screw there, two screws on that side. Okay, so let's take this apart. Just be careful I don't break anything, that's the main thing. Ooh. Where did it fall? There it is. Okay. Okay, now we got a couple of, let me release this. I've got a couple screws there. Actually one, I think. There's one screw. Put this down. Release this screw. The other screw holds on the tape counter. Okay, both screws are out. This should lift out of place. It's loose, it's holding it. More ties, that's what's holding it. Oh, you know what? It's holding it is these screws here penetrate through, and there's a hole. I just got to back this screw out, and then that should come right out. Because the motor is loose, it's just being held in place by these two. I'll just remove one of them. Actually, I'll take this one right out because this ground cable's restricting my movement. Let's take this one right out. Sorry. Okay, now we can come apart. Out of the way. This is a complicated mechanism. I've never seen so many complicated little levers, and just gotta remember where everything goes. Okay, now we can remove this. This should take out both reel tables, and the tire I'm trying to service. Yeah, look at this tire, it's completely glazed. See how shiny it is? That's probably what our squeaky noise was. Okay, now that I got this all apart, that kind of sounds dry. This one won't spin free because there's a spring putting drag on it. That one sounds dry too. Alright, let me get rid of the rest of this and we'll work on this stuff. Okay, let's go through and service this. Pull the cap off, and the cap is what holding it. The other part's pressed into the nylon here, so you got to pop this cap off. Let me do this without it flying across the room. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this thing's all dry. Oops, what happened there? Let's lubricate this. Let's see here. The bearing starts about 4 or 5 millimeters in, so let's get some lube on this. Working good now. It's nice and silent. Let's do this one. So the spring just rides on the plastic there. That's their idea of low friction. Okay. Actually, that can just stay on there. Let's get this one lubed up. I'm just going to redistribute the grease that's already here instead of cleaning it out and putting fresh. It looks like it's good condition. It's just a matter of getting it redistributed so it's the bearing surface has fresh grease. I'll put this back together. Nice and free. Okay. Now onto this. I've got a split washer. Let's remove it. Come on, baby. There we go. I don't know what this little thing does. We've got a plastic washer in between the two, and pull this off, and we can lubricate that shaft. Yeah, this is the piece that's cracked. You can see it's cracked. Maybe you can see the crack here, starting from the center, radiating out to the edge. And flip it over. You see the crack. If this shaft lets go, there's no helping this. Well, you could probably epoxy it, I guess. That would be your next step. But yeah, it's running on borrowed time. Alright, got Lubra in there. Let's put this back together. Let's put a little bit of lube on this thing too. I don't know what this does, but we'll lubricate it. Put our split washer back on. Yeah, see, that shaft is already moving on there. Press it back. It's loose. That's the problem. So push this back. I need a surface to push on. Push the washer on. There. Now it's silent. Okay, let's clean that tire up. Rubber renew. Let's clean this off. Get rid of that glaze. I suppose if you were really ambitious, you could take these tires off and boil them, and that would restore probably a lot of the resiliency on them. I don't know. You run into the risk of danger of these parts are cracking and they're old. So when you take the belt off, put it back on, you're actually stressing the plastic pulley that's under it. And be careful about that. I'm just going to give this a good clean. Seems like it was contaminated with something too, so it's coming off. It's getting better. You know, the dirt that's coming off. It's dirt or rubber. Glazed rubber's coming off. That's what it is. One more. Looking a lot better. There's some cracking going on in this tire too. It really should be replaced, but I think we'll get a lot enough life out of this. Okay. Oh, you know what? That fell off because, yeah. There we go. Now it can't fall out. Do we need to lubricate that slide? I put it on backwards, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I did. Let's get it right. Okay. Now it's better. Let's lubricate that slide a bit. While we're in there, we can do it. So this is molybdenum disulfide. Is that how you pronounce it? Oh, it is a black grease that gets everywhere. We don't need much, just a touch. So let's put a little bit here. Probably got way too much on there. Okay. Put a little bit here. Okay. We're done. Now let's work on this mess. How does this work? So we got a tire, shaft, a clutch assembly. Right here is where they get that felt pad. There's a spring and a clutch here because the spring's pushing the pulley onto that onto the shaft. And if I force the spring back, you can see it pulls back a little. It's got quite a bit of grip on it. But that's there to that's an engineered slip point. So let's clean this all up. Get some more of this. And let's clean this tire. Actually, it wasn't too bad. A little bit of cleaning. Let's clean this tire. This one was a lot worse. Let's clean this one too. Okay, do one more time. All right, I got these 3 cleaned. They look pretty good now. They don't look glazed anymore. And this one, I'm going to put it all back together and we'll see how it works now. Should be good, so let's get it back together. Man, oh man, it was a good thing I videotaped me taking this apart, because I would have tell you it would have been hours putting this back together. The way these 3 pieces sit in here like this. But I think I got it now. So yeah, careful when you take things apart. Make sure you either take pictures or draw pictures or do something. So yeah, this goes back, and then let's see here. This piece is to lock this all in. So I believe this goes here. Let me see if I can get this right. I think so. I think we're getting it. Okay, and then this screw goes and holds this in. Now, is there something missing here? The spring, yeah. That spring flew, didn't it? And I forgot to retrieve it. Where is it now? It's right here. What does this spring do? It hooks here. So this, does that push that way? It must. How does this go? This is going to go like this. Okay, that goes in there. Is this like that? Okay, you got this in wrong again, so let's try that again. Let's take and flip this over. This goes like this. There we go. That's the way. Okay, E-clip. Good, everything's set. Just a matter of tightening these screws down, put the motor back in, belt. Okay, I'll lubricate the motor and clean the pulley, reinstall it, and then I'll clean the surfaces of the capstan, flywheel, and this surface here that runs on that tire. And I'll put that back together, and we'll lubricate this, put it all back together, and we'll give it a test. Alright, so I got it back together here. I was playing my test tapes and check speed. Speed is actually bang on, so I'm not going to touch it. This is a 7 kilohertz test tone. I'm getting equal amplitude on both channels. It's about as good as it's going to get. I can play the 10 kilohertz test tone, and it doesn't even register. I don't even think we're getting anything through. So frequency response of this deck is really restricted. It's cause worn out head. Not much you can do about it. You can't fix worn. I wouldn't even know where to start to look for a new head for this thing, but it definitely needs it. You can tell by the, you can feel it with your fingernail and you can see it. But that's all I can do for this. I'm going to put it back together and I'll give it a final test and then we'll see how it sounds. Well, there it is, all back together again. It's a shame I couldn't do more for it. You know, a worn head is a worn head. Nothing you can really do for it other than re-grind it, I guess. I don't know even if that would work. But yeah, can't buy heads nowadays, I don't think. I'm not aware of. If somebody who is aware of new heads for these kind of vintage decks, I guess point me to it, because I'm interested in learning where I could get them from. I know I have a collection of old heads I've scrapped from old equipment, but you know, they're worn out too. So what are you going to do? Tried my best, get this thing going. It is working good. Let's see here. Do I have... I think I have a tape here. I can maybe give you a little listen what it sounds like. It's not great. I don't want to get copyright here. But yeah, it is working. It's working, not the greatest, but it's working. So I'm going to end it there. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Take care.